Just eating a bit of cheese.
Yummy.
You got any pickle or anything to go with that, or
No.
A beer?
No.
Is there
Just a lump of cheese. I am God here. This is the science fiction rating system.
Are you God or Cyber God, though? Which one is it?
Cyber Christ.
Cyber Christ. Ah, that's
Yeah.
right then.
No, I'm God here. And this is the science fiction rating system, and that's the podcast that aims to rank every film from 1 to infinity. My name is Sam Draper. I am the host, well, the co-host. I don't get too big for my britches now that I'm God and all. But I'm joined as ever by Chris Redding.
Hi guys.
How are you, Chris?
Yeah, pretty good.
You rested and ready for this after a break. We've had a few weeks off.
Oh yeah,
Summer break.
I'm raring to go.
Brilliant. And Alex Humphrey.
Yes, hello, I'm here. Yeah, it's good. It was a good break.
Recharged?
I am.
Yeah.
Well, I was at Fright Fest watching 5 days of horror film, so it was a busy break, but it was a nice break.
Was that in London?
Yeah. It's in the Empire. Well, Cineworld Leicester Square. What used to be the Empire Leicester Square.
Oh right. Yeah.
And
What was the
Prince
best film you
Charles.
saw? What was the worst film you saw?
Death Note was very good, which is on Netflix now. Cult of Chucky was very good. And there's this good film called Diane. And the worst film was probably a film called Fashionista by Simon Rumley, who I just don't like. It just looks like art school bollocks, and everyone really likes him. I didn't really like it. Yeah, but the kind of, there wasn't much science fiction stuff. There was 2 episodes of this Japanese thing called Crow's Blood, which had a kind of sci-fi twist on it, but sadly I can't find it anywhere to watch, even though it came out. Yeah, but the first 2 episodes were brilliant. Really gory, kind of a Frankenstein meets Japanese schoolgirls plotline. Yeah.
That sounds like Japan.
Yeah, nuts gore, like insane amounts of gore with just Japanese gore, but very good. But yeah, but a good, and kind of doing that heavyweight kind of philosophical shit.
Did you get to Shin Godzilla?
No, that's actually happening. Well, it depends when it's happening. It was happening on Monday night at my cinema where I work at. No, I didn't get to see it in London, sadly. But yeah, lots of people came in and asked about it.
Yeah.
Including a child who loved Godzilla, and I thought,
brilliant.
Good for you. Yeah.
Sign him up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a 12A though, I think.
Yeah, I've like half seen it now.
Yeah.
Wasn't too impressed. That's why I sort of stopped watching it.
Oh, that's a pity.
It's all right. I just really don't like the new Godzilla.
No.
Looks stupid. Anyway, have either of you been watching Twin Peaks?
No.
No, not yet. I haven't watched it yet.
I've just watched the 2-hour finale before doing this.
Was it good? Did it deliver?
Didn't. It was a bit of a mindfuck.
Like the second series then?
But it has cemented, well, and the end of the first really, but it's cemented my view that it is science fiction, and therefore we can watch Firewalk with Me at some point.
Ooh.
I think.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I'm looking forward to. I'm going to see that at the cinema, actually, for my birthday in a few weeks, which will be nice.
Yeah. Hey, your birthday. Aren't there new rules on the science fiction rating system about what happens on someone's birthday?
Oh, I forgot that. Yeah.
What is it? Sorry.
Well, for birthdays, we're going to be allowed to request a re-ranking, weren't we?
Yeah,
okay,
bonus
cool,
re-ranking.
Because Chris's is coming up 2 weeks after mine.
Yeah, because I'll just put his one back to where it was.
Oh, the power that you have.
Yeah, I'll give that some thought, and maybe next week I'll come back with my...
Okay.
It's good because it's like a nuclear weapon. Because if you use it to put something up, and there's something else on there which you like, the other person.
It's only
put
one
it
a
down.
year. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've only got... Yeah, that's it. A limited supply.
Basically, that animation's going down.
What, Wall-E?
No.
Oh, you guessed mine. That's it. Like you can use your thing, Chris, to put Wally back up where I put it down, but that would waste.
Yeah.
That would leave Ghost in the Shell number 3, wouldn't it? So
Yeah.
you know.
How many steps are you allowed to put it up or down? What?
No, it's
I
just
don't
a
know.
re-ranking, isn't it?
I
It's
think
just us re-talking about it again.
We all rank it again, I think.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Anyway,
fair.
we'll sort the specifics, can't say that word, off air. For now, let's get into the films before our audience leave us. Oh, and also, audience, like us, follow us, subscribe, etc.
Yes.
All that business. We had a bumper month in July, and then August.
Is that why we
not
took
so
some
much.
time off?
Yeah, we were too successful. So we
Woohoo!
thought,
Let's take
scale
some
back
off.
the episodes. Anyway, right,
We've lost all the audience.
Yeah.
they've all gone. Yeah, they're all unsubscribed. So let's scare off the last few by reviewing Lawnmower Man. So this week was books into films, which is quite a broad topic, and most of our films so far were books at some point. But we needed something because Dark Tower came out,
Yeah.
which I still haven't seen. Probably not going to see for a while.
Yeah.
But talking to Stephen King, Lawnmower Man. So let's start with Alex.
Yeah. So did either of you read the story behind Lawnmower Man?
No.
Right. Okay. So basically, New Line Cinema obtained the rights to a Stephen King short story called Lawnmower Man, and they also had an unrelated script called Cyber God. Right.
Okay.
They placed King's title on production of Cyber God, and he was so furious at the abuse of his name that he sued them, and basically the studio was ordered to pay £10,000 and full profits, and basically all of his name. So that trailer we watched last time that has his name on it, that wouldn't exist anymore. So it's not actually Stephen King's Lawnmower Man because
But an addendum to that, did you know that the first home video release of it had Stephen King's Lawnmower Man on the cover?
well, I guess then maybe that's the profits thing. Maybe they had to pay him a load of money.
Did they
So the story of this film has got nothing to do with the book. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah. So the plot of Stephen King's short story is basically, I'll try and praise it quickly. A guy wants to have his lawn mowed. He finds this random. He finds this outdoor service, rings them up. The guy turns up, this little short fat dude with a big red lawnmower, and the guy starts mowing the lawn. The bloke goes off, reads his paper, and he's kind of wondering what's going on. And when he comes back, the man is naked, dancing around behind the lawnmower, which is mowing the lawn on its own. And when he questions the little man, the man says, "Oh, I serve the god Pan, and if you question me, I'll kill you." And he then makes the lawnmower kill the man, and then the police turn up and think it's a sex pervert, and then they don't bother to investigate. And that's the Stephen King short story.
Wow, so it really is almost completely different.
Well, yes. So the only bits...
There's a big red mower in it.
Exactly. The only links are that the big lawnmower, and there's actually because I'd read that, the silly the awful Irish bloke.
Yes.
Yeah. He actually makes a reference to that can you hear the fairies? That's the god Pan. He makes some really tiny reference. But yeah, basically the idea of a lawnmower mowing on its own is pretty much the only link to Stephen King. So you can see why he sued him. So weirdly, this is actually not a conversion at all.
No. They instead went with the idea of Pierce Brosnan making some ill-defined VR game, or not a game, it's a way of life, or it's a way of making someone cleverer, or all of the above, and it's
Who
a
knows?
mess.
Yeah.
Chris, were you a fan of Lawnmower Man?
No.
It's not a surprise.
I had a few attempts to watch it, because I first turned it on, and then within the first couple of minutes, Piers Brosnan was shouting down the phone,
Oh, he's so funny though.
screw the political assholes.
Oh.
He was the best chimp I've ever had.
Yeah.
That opening
In a very
is
strange
amazing.
When I
accent.
turned it off the first time.
Oh, I love him in it. I think he's hilarious. He's so committed to
script's
how
ridiculous.
Yeah, he's so committed to how bad it is, though, isn't it? He's like acting.
You've got to, though, haven't you?
He's fucking acting his arse off in this film.
You've got to double down, haven't you, when you're an actor?
Yeah. And I love that he's just like smoking, drinking. He's got that earring. He's like a bit kind of like he's kind of he's a weird scientist.
He keeps throwing in some effing and jeffing every now and again, doesn't he? For no particular reason.
Yes. Yeah. Do you think he improvised that? That was his little own.
Probably,
Yeah,
because there's nothing else in it which is remotely like that.
Yeah.
It's weird.
And that I love that giant face that seems to be everyone's boss.
Who is Hank off Breaking Bad, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Doing a really weird accent, but yeah, no, I love that.
Yeah.
He's around, doesn't he?
And when they finally go to his office and they're trying to convey that he doesn't really care about that, and they do that by him being on a phone call during the meeting. but Pierce Brosnan just keeps talking to him while he takes the phone call, which seemed a bit far fetched. And really, far fetched is kind of the word for this film, isn't it? It's
horrendously far fetched. Yeah,
and just not really thought out on any level, is it? Really?
No, it's all
not very
insane.
sensitive.
No,
and
I think that's the thing, because it is so insensitive. It stopped it being like a cult classic, because you can't really enjoy it as much as you should. Because
there's no way you could repeat this on TV now.
No.
And also,
no.
So it's going to miss. They're going to miss out on all that revenue from whatever. I don't know if it was politically correct in '91. To be honest, it was.
I don't know.
Bad.
It does. I can't think it can have been. It's such a bad performance. It's such like a. Well, it's exactly like in Tropic Thunder when.
When did Forrest Gump come out?
93.
Right.
So it's around that sort of time. Yeah, I mean, it just feels like a TV movie to me, like a bad sort of late night Channel 5 TV movie, even down to like the crap. What do we call it? Sex.
Oh, the cyber sex. Yeah.
Yeah, and it just, and also the way that they kind of, I don't know, it's like they want to build up to obviously the actual cyber Job at the end. But that doesn't really pay off at all.
No,
because he just gets angry and presses the what's the button he's pressing? Access denied. Over and over again.
He's trying to do that weird kind of Rubik's cube thing, isn't he? Just to try and get out of the base. Yeah.
And
what's the budget of this film? Do we know?
$10 million.
Okay.
And the CGI was done by, I can't remember the effects house, but they became Rockstar San Diego, who made like Midnight Club and Smuggler's Run and a lot of the like spin-off GTA games, which is, I bet they're not proud of that.
No. But I do remember seeing this a long, long time ago, and I do remember thinking like the little thing they sit in when they're doing him, the little boy doing the flying bit, and the kind of the huge rig thing that spins around. I do remember when I was a lot younger thinking like, oh, it does look pretty cool actually. That'd be pretty cool to play that as a game. And I don't know if I thought it was the future, but I did think. I don't know, it looks so bad now. I've never...
Yeah, like it...
It looks so dated.
The fact that every texture has to be this weird, like, sort of hippies t-shirt colour effect going on.
It has to be tie-dye.
Yeah, lots of tie-dye. There's no attempt to make it look like anything, really, is there? Other than...
No.
Like, whose idea of the future was that?
Well, I think it was Brett Leonard's idea of the future, basically. Yeah. Because didn't he make... like we said, I think he made another film about virtuality.
Yeah, Virtuosity.
Yeah. And I think I've read that they're trying to either bring Lawnmower Man back or do a kind of virtual reality TV version of it or something. I don't know in what way, but that's what I've read, a few things I saw. So I think he's still down. I think he's still convinced that it's virtual reality is the future, but obviously not this type of virtual reality, I guess.
I mean, virtuality is here now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I had an Oculus Rift for a bit. I sent it back, but that was way ahead of what this was.
Is it because you were getting too aggressive?
By whizzing around in a multicoloured like world, it doesn't change the way your brain is wired up.
No.
Like,
no.
They're playing really off the ignorance of people's understanding of computers at that era.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, that's the biggest sort of failing of the plot, isn't it? That they don't really define why does him flying about playing a shoot 'em up make him smarter, or how is that related to making him smarter?
And having injections, just injections and that.
I can understand a bit where he's just reading all the encyclopedias, like they do a few scenes where he's reading, and it must be Encarta because it's all on disc.
Yeah. And
it just blasts through Encarta.
Yeah.
And
that relates to telekinesis. Like, I don't know how, like the idea that he's activating bits of his brain that are dormant, which, I don't know, it's a bit odd, isn't it?
When was Res? Was that before this?
No, Res is a few years later.
Okay.
Res is 96, I'd say, 97.
Because Res still looks good because they strip it all back.
Oh, Res is a beautiful game, yeah.
So it's almost like like you say, it's kind of shit because they're trying to make it look like people or trying to make it look like places or a sex monster, I don't know. But it just...
I think if Brett Leonard is out there listening, I think well, they're missing the trick. What they should do, they should make a Lawnmower Man VR game where you start off in Lawnmower Man VR, in your VR, and then you come out of the VR. So you're still in VR, but you are playing Pierce Brosnan in the VR. See what I mean?
Yeah.
How great would that be?
That would be great.
But like they sell it as though you're in like Lawnmower Man. They're like, oh shit, and I'm actually just in the Lawnmower Man film, and you have to like act out the crap film in VR. And I think that'd be brilliant.
Yeah. I kind of wish there was another film with Pierce Brosnan as this character, but just the same. I just was pissing myself like every line. That bit when he's got the really bad computer and he's recording himself like the experiments aren't going
his
well.
Journal.
Like his journal is just he's so hilarious, but then there's just so much else.
Then he
wrong
goes
with it.
amend that, and it's just recording.
Yeah, it's not that advanced. He doesn't realise yet.
Yeah.
No, it's pretty terrible, and it has not. It's one of the most dated films. I mean, God, we thought Journey to the Centre of the Earth is dated, but like this looks so
massively.
so dated. And it's
when you compare it to what song we had last week, oh god, the one Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and how modern that felt, and also Andromeda Strain, we're going to do in a bit, which felt old in some ways, but also in some ways, this film will age in a way that nothing else can really, because it is so tied to that crap. Because you think about it, like this is the same year as Jurassic Park, and obviously they're using CG in very different ways, but Jurassic Park does not date in the way, and won't date in the way this dated, did it? So
no.
But also, this would only been a handful of years after the early developments of The Matrix and what The Matrix came to be in I know it's 99, but, you know, that would have been 2 or 3 years in development.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's, yeah.
Yeah, it feels very looking. The problem with it is that it's extrapolating what VR was then, wasn't it? Because I don't know if you remember the Virtuosity headset. Do I remember that?
No.
Which was like an early 90s VR, and that was big blocky, 3D spaces. And this is basically them saying, okay, what if Virtuosity is the future? Where'd you go from there? Whereas the best films that do that sort of thing, like Blade Runner, things like that have got a futurist perspective, are going way beyond just going, oh, this is what we've got now plus one, you know?
Yeah. Well, they don't even do like a Tron thing where they're like, yeah, actually, we can't really do this, so we'll just fake it.
Exactly, yeah.
They don't even fake things or do... They're just like, like you say, he's so confident that is like, no, look, it's amazing. It looks amazing.
But it's actually the most mundane, boring future of all time that was probably dated by about 5 years after that. So
Yeah.
The soundtrack's terrible, isn't it? Like, really awful.
Very bad.
I mean, on every level, really, this film's...
The script is horrible. Like, people repeat the same thing, like, within a sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there's repetitions of words. It's like there hasn't even been a script editor, like, go through it. It's...
Yeah. There's no character... Apart from Pierce Brosnan, every character is just the biggest cliche. Like the meathead guy at the garage, and
the bad priest,
the randy neighbour. Like they're just the biggest cliches, aren't they? Like yeah. No,
I did enjoy the priest being set on fire with the cheapest effect of all time. Judgment Day is here, as Joe said. It's wow. Not much more to say, is there really, other than wow.
Yeah, wow.
It was truly, truly terrible. And how Pierce Brosnan went from this to GoldenEye, I don't know what.
I guess he just doesn't put this on his show reel. I guess he's maybe, I don't know, maybe it's like a Whoopi Goldberg situation. He got like blackmailed into doing it.
Possibly. I don't think so though, because as you say, he's really into it, isn't he? He really thinks he's making high art here. He's
Well, when was GoldenEye?
95. So not too much.
He was lucky then, wasn't he?
He's in Mrs. Doubtfire, wasn't he? Between the two.
Then he scored. That's how he swept it back.
That was probably his last chance, wasn't it? And he snatched victory from the jaws of defeat, from cyber defeat. Right, let's rank this then. It's kind of a lot like Scanner Darkly, isn't it? That sits at the bottom of the list. Crap.
But
computers.
It was fun. I found it fun though. I found it entertaining.
I'm going to say...
I thought it was toxic.
Yeah, I'm going to say 45, one above Scanner Darkly, but otherwise bottom of the list. Chris, what do you think?
No, I put it at the bottom because it's not it's not acceptable.
No,
Yeah, it's true.
it is pretty.
At least there's some artistic merit, wasn't there, in Scandark?
Yeah.
Even if it was annoying.
Okay. No, okay.
Alex, you in
No. I just, that's the problem. I just enjoyed Pierce Brosnan so much, and I loved the monkey in the beginning, and there was a lot of bits I liked. But you're right, it is insensitive, it's stupid, and it's funny because, like Chris has said about some of the films where a complete misrepresentation of what technology could do, and this is just like, it's just dumb. It's just really stupid. It just gets it completely wrong. So
Also, Pierce Brosnan
should be at the bottom.
Lucky that Pierce Brosnan was playing the positive character towards the Lawnmower Man.
Yeah.
If there was any clips of where Pierce Brosnan is going, "You're a fucking retard," and all the rest of it, they would now have been dragged up.
Yeah.
And he's lucky that he hasn't got like that back catalogue of just really dodgy shit.
Yeah.
Although he does actually, even he comes across as a bit of a kind of sex pervert when he goes up. And
he does say like,
do you wanna
as soon
come
as
and
that
play?
guy's mentioned, he goes, "Oh, he must have an IQ of about 45."
But yeah, he's hanging around saying, "Oh, do you want to come play games in my shed?" to that little boy, isn't he? So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he's not really good guy, is he? I suppose right at the end when he, by that fence, picks up the gun and thinks, "I'm going to save the day." But before that, the whole... I guess they don't really make a big deal of portraying it as a bad thing that is...
I could say,
I don't know.
Interesting, I'd say all these three films are linked by basically kind of like, it's like a confused scientist character, isn't it? There's always... All three of these films have scientists who are trying to solve a problem.
Actually.
They're all trying to solve a problem, and that's what Pierce Brosnan is trying to solve a problem. They've all three of these films have kind of moral and, the kind of ethics of science. It's just this is dumb and stupid and does it badly, and the other two do it a bit better. So... yeah, so bottom, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, cool. So finally, after about 10 weeks, Scandarkly moves up one and is no longer bottom of the list. It's another Richard down there, though. Richard Leonard. George's link later.
The only way Scandarkly moves up is when we get absolute, like, toxic...
Yeah.
Okay.
Politically incorrect shit.
Let's have a quick break and come back with the Andromeda Strain. And we're back for our second film, as Alex has said, linked by scientists. And now the story of some scientists who meddle with things they shouldn't. Viruses. It's the Andromeda Strain, an old film from 1971. I'm really tired. Can you tell? My train of thought here is like all over the place. Sorry.
It's all right.
It's because you've just smashed the 2 hours of...
Twin Peaks is true, yeah. My brains,
Peaks.
brains, and that cheese, and it's just
cheese
having nightmares now.
Mind.
Yeah, true. So somebody else take over for me. Andromeda Strain. Alex, what do you think about this film?
Well, I'd never seen this film, but obviously heard about it, and I thought it was really, really good. Yeah, I thought it was completely different to a lot of other things I've ever seen. I liked that the majority of the characters were older. They were kind of... it wasn't these kind of... they didn't decide to just cast like 20... if this was made now, it'd be like a bunch of 20-somethings or just ridiculous people. They were a lot older. I think it built really, really well from that kind of really creepy beginning where the entire town, just everyone's dead, which is really horrible. And then just that... most films, the idea, that central idea, they have to go through all the levels of the building, like all the zones, to get to the bottom. A lot of other people, if they'd read that... I mean, in a book, I can see that working because you've got time to wander around and talk and develop the characters. But I think a lot of other directors or screenplay writers would have just gone, okay, well, we'll montage that because that's boring. And we'll just get straight to the kind of like, let's have them like, solving what's going on and working it out. But that whole bit, I just thought it was so I mean, it's stupid and it was silly, and I'm sure Chris can wade in on if there was any science to it whatsoever. I don't think there was, but I just really liked that, and I think it developed the characters really well. Yeah, I really, really liked it. The only bit I probably didn't like or thought was silly was the bit at the end with the lasers, because that just looks so naff now. That's the only bit of it, though, where I was like, no, this looks a bit kind of dated. But generally, I was kind of, really surprised.
Okay. Well, I wasn't. I was positive, and not as positive as you. I thought it got generally just worse as it went on. I think it started really strongly. I loved the imagery of the dead bodies in the village and the idea of like, oh, what's going on here? And like you, I think it is good to see old people in it, and it makes sense that they are the experts, because obviously they've got the experience and stuff like that. And the levels, especially the way it was filmed, the different colours for each level and things like that, was just brilliant. It was in a way, it was like you were watching an instruction manual about how to deal with a virus rather than a film, wasn't it? It was so. But then that became to its detriment for me. I thought it was a bit slow, especially when they started actually investigating it. It kind of lost me a bit. I don't know, and when they start getting into the woman who's got epilepsy and things like that, and it would just develop so slowly that I kind of lost interest. It
lost
a bit.
you. Oh, okay.
But I did appreciate how unique it was, and it's a very obviously that post 2001 hard science fiction. They can get away with doing this sort of thing in a film, whereas that has kind of gone away now. Apart from in indie films, hasn't it? You couldn't really make that film on that budget. Like I say, it'd be kids, and it would be straight to the fifth floor, and oh my god, there's an outbreak, stuff like that.
And there'd be monsters, and people would, they'd have to save the baby, and the old man had become a zombie, or it just wouldn't be like.
Well, have you seen Life? That one came out a couple of months ago, where it was set on the space station with Gyllenhaal, and that had some similarities to it, but obviously because it's a modern film, they have to show a monster. It eventually evolves into a monster. So
so Chris,
they do all the quarantine chat. All that
like that is
similar.
What do you think?
I mean, they get a lot of movie on this one out of literally explaining what quarantine is.
True. Yes. Yeah.
And 5 different levels of quarantine.
Yeah. Did you enjoy it?
I did, but there's a lot for nothing. I think, isn't there? There's a basic idea now. I think. It would have been revolutionary then. It would have been like, when War of the Worlds, that idea of, a small infection can kill the world. It's the same with the Thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
The same sort of idea. But it's like, this would have been one of the earliest examples of that, I guess. So it's, it's good. I mean, it looks great.
It's shot, doesn't it?
It's shot great. Characters are strong, I think. The...
played well as well.
Very 2001-y, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I like the sort of there's like little stings in it where like there's an animation of when they're going down in the lift, and there's a diagram of the and
good split screen.
They keep doing these little split screen, and they do these little stings with like some electronic music, sound design. That was all really bold and quite cool.
When everyone has their
fantastic.
When they all have their dreams, when you see their dreams kind of in the little boxes, don't you? Yeah, that's really good.
It's very. I like how understated all that is. That like it doesn't.
Yes.
Because you must go probably like 20 minutes, half an hour before you get any of that split screen stuff, doesn't it? And then it just suddenly just pops up. You're like, oh, this is refreshing. It's a bit. Yeah, and like you say, the idea of it does feel sort of again like post 2001. Oh, now we can do anything, doesn't it? Like, oh, why not put an animation in and stuff like that? It like isn't a sort of a. There's no codified rules about how to make science fiction in a way at that point, which is.
It's like something like Wes Anderson would do now or something.
Yeah, totally.
It's like just to tell the story, just put that in.
Yeah, why not?
Great.
Yeah.
Also, the science is, it's getting an idea across, but like, do we really need to know like the 5 different levels of?
Oh, I liked that.
It was a lot of tests going on and lots of the same sort of stuff. A lot of that sort of looking at a screen, and then there's like a magnified image of something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
it's like it's the. Go on.
Sorry.
It's like with the transporter in Star Trek. It's like when you get rid of all the bugs which a human comes along with, the human wouldn't survive.
Yeah. I think that thing about the flaws and that idea of it being so forensic about what it's doing. That for me is its strength and its flaw, because
But then you can just climb out in a hole and climb up with this really slow laser shooting at you.
yeah, that is a bit stupid. Yeah,
Yeah, no, the laser was dumb. Like, but they obviously
that was
needed.
rubbish. Yeah,
They obviously needed.
Why isn't it airlocks going up? Like, with the lift has to go through individual airlocks or something. I just don't see why.
it's a real pity, isn't it? That they obviously just couldn't work out how to end it, could they? I think. And so,
Yeah,
Or like a fan pushing down. Do you know what I mean? So you have to fight up. Or something. I don't know.
yeah. No, because the whole idea of the whole single man theory or whatever it was, that's all cool. The idea of it just blowing everyone to smithereens to stop the outbreak is cool, and the twist that it's actually going to make it worse is cool. But yeah, you're right. Then what fails is they probably Michael Crichton must have sat there and just been like, oh shit, I've made this place that no one can get in and out of. How do I have a race to stop a bomb then? Like, you just can't do it almost, can you?
yeah, no.
So yeah,
I mean, they cover a lot of science, and they treat the audience like it's a lesson.
Yes,
Because it goes all the way from like it's a serious threat, and they realise, it's not that much of a threat, to it's now being blown across the planet, and the film ends where they're just like controlling it.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, I've not read the book, and I'm guessing neither of you two have.
No.
But I have read that apparently this is a very direct copy, and you can see that, can't you? That it's it clearly is a novel. I mean, I quite want to read it now.
there's a lot of stuff in it which was in Jurassic Park as well.
Yeah.
They changed.
How they've got systems in place, but because of a certain thing to do with that system that people don't foresee, something else happens.
Yeah.
They changed. I think the major change was they're all men in the book, and they put in a female character.
They put in a female, yeah.
Which I think
weird.
is
She's just wisecracky all the time.
there was a lot of sass. You wouldn't have liked the sass.
Yeah.
She was very sassy, wasn't she?
Yeah.
It's quite a progressive female character though for that time, isn't it? That she's not young and sexy. She's not just there to make them drinks, whatever. She's a strong character.
She's a grumpy curmudgeon type.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And the weakness, the epilepsy that she's got, it's not like, it doesn't hinge on a man or something like that, does it? It's her own weakness that she controls, and is very rare really for that kind of film.
I have a specific quiz question for Sam on this one.
Oh, go on.
And it relates to Lawnmower Man a little bit.
Yeah.
But Lawnmower Man in this film, Lawnmower Man less so, there's quite famous, I would say, dance music songs have sampled from Andromeda Strain and Lawnmower Man. Do you know what the samples are of the songs?
I don't know.
So this is the Let's Go Back to the Rock and See It at 440. That's from Apollo 440's Ain't Talking About Dub, which is in Andromeda Strain. And kind of in when Pierce Brosnan says, I've got to take my work underground, or whatever it is, that's kind of not sampled, but they re-say that in a different way in Music for the Jilted Generation, The Prodigy. But they quote it, but it isn't a sample, it's kind of the same lines. But yeah. That's very strange.
Very interesting.
Yeah, there you go.
You remember when there was a lot of like music videos in the 90s which had the same sort of animation as Lawnmower Man?
Yeah.
Like the sort of really bad music
Probably
videos.
both of those songs I just mentioned.
Yeah, probably had those videos. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Talking of the music, the soundtrack, as you mentioned previously, Gil Melee, I don't know if I'm saying that right, who was he was actually a jazz musician on Blue Note, and pioneering electronic sounds there. I mean, there's some really weird stuff going on there, isn't there? The fact the theme is basically like white noise that recurs is such a brilliant sort of thing. But yeah, no, that soundtrack it's not an easy listen, but definitely if that was your kind of thing, search it out. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So
I just love how like everything, the sets are all like amazing and everything's been well thought out, and then he just casually drops in, oh yeah, there's like 4 of these places where you can put the key to turn the nuke off. And we're just putting some more in right now, but they're not finished. And then when you walk past them, it's literally like someone's written on the wall, doesn't work or something, like not working.
Yeah.
The wire's hanging out.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
And you can all, and then we just knew that when it all kicked off, he was in a section where it doesn't work.
Yeah,
You know.
you could just imagine like some kind of really annoying builder just being like, "Oh, what? Well, you said we had another month on these. What? You know, we haven't finished it yet." Yeah, no, that's dumb. That whole bit is that is badly thought through. Considering
It's a pity, isn't it? Really,
Yeah.
it does have to go that way, but oh well. Okay, so we're sort of positive, a sort of a thumbs up for all of us there. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's rank it. Chris.
I would put this somewhere around 28, I think, somewhere like that.
So that is above Reels of Steel and below Hunger Games. I would go higher than that. I'm thinking more sort of like 1920, Bachelor Not Included, Pacific Rim, that sort of it, placed around there.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy it as much as They Live or Lost World or something like that, but it was all right. You know?
No, I agree with you, Sam. It's just very different. It was refreshing. It was quite hard, like you say. It's kind of hard science, which was nice. It was flawed, but I think the majority of it wasn't. So yeah, no, I'm with you. I would say around that area.
There's like a little like cluster of films there where they're not great, but I wouldn't mind watching them again if they're on.
Yeah.
Whereas below that, I probably wouldn't watch. Again, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think specifically, Alex? Because I'm not sure myself. You got a number in mind?
Maybe like above Phantom Menace, like 23, or would that be 23, 22?
Yeah, 23. Above Phantom Menace, below Rise of Planet of the Apes. That sounds fair. Chris, do you think that's...
Yeah, I'll take that.
Cool. That was an easy one.
It's in.
I don't think it was that flawed. I just think there was just too much of it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I think
it could have been like a short, like if it was like a short TV program, sort, because it was very like Open University style. It could have been like a Twilight Zone or something, couldn't it? Or
no, I agree. As I say, I got bored of it, but like the idea of it was fine. Everything about it was fine. Yeah, I don't know. It was all right. The director Robert Wise, you know what film he went on to make that we're going to be doing soon?
No.
He directed the first Star Trek film.
Oh.
Which is which when you think about it, if you think of that first Star Trek film, makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot about that first film that is trying to be, that feels like a very early 70s sci-fi film, doesn't it? In the way of like 2001.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Yeah.
For better or worse, which we'll find out when we get to it. Anyway, so one film left to go. It's Will Smith's I Am Legend, and we'll be back in a minute. We're back with our final film. Another scientist who's doing things he shouldn't be doing. Or is he a colonel? Is he a scientist?
He's a
colonel?
scientist, colonel, medical
He's
doctor.
everything.
He's everything, isn't he? He's everything.
Everything to all men. He's Will Smith. He's in I Am Legend, directed by Francis Lawrence from a screenplay by Mark Protesevich and Akiva Goldsman of Batman and Robin fame. I forgot to do that for the two films, but never mind. This film, let's start at the end and say which ending did we all watch?
Well, I watched both. The version I had had the original ending, and then I sat there going, "No, hold on, there's a different ending," and I watched the alternative ending. And to me, the problem with this whole film is the alternate ending makes the whole film make sense and is so much better.
Yes.
The original ending, you just go, "Oh, that's a bit shit." But the alternate ending, you go, "Oh wow, oh my god, he was the villain all along," and it suddenly everyone's actions make sense, and it's so much better.
I just cannot. I mean, we don't know the story. I'll recount it for people at home. Is basically that they showed the film to test audiences who didn't like the ending where Will Smith gets out and is a hero and. Well, not he's a hero. He's not a hero. Then he's a hero. Yeah. He's legend as a bad guy and then escapes and to safety. I can understand that people perhaps wouldn't like the fact that they do get out like that, but I just cannot fathom how Will Smith blowing himself up with a grenade when he isn't actually the bad guy in that version of the film. You know, the ending where they are just crazy, he is not a bad guy.
No.
So his sacrifice makes even less sense.
Yeah.
I just cannot work out how they got to that as the ending that satisfied audiences. You know, it's so bizarre.
But the whole film just falls down because you just...
Oh, completely,
Because it's all the way through, he's like, oh, yeah, there's this one aggressive, like, I'll call him Alpha. He seems to be more intelligent than the rest of them. So you're like, but... And then when you have that alternate ending where you're like, right, it was basically his mate, you've killed all his friends and you've stolen his girlfriend. That's why he's so angry with you.
But also the trap they set for him, the fact they moved the mannequin around, all the stuff, none of it makes any sense, does it?
If they're just mindless zombies, it makes no sense whatsoever. It's a completely confusing film, And like you say, he just kills himself for seemingly no reason.
But anyway, so for the sake of ranking, I think we should rank the alternate ending version because that's clearly the film that was intended, isn't it? And that's the book, closer to the book ending, stuff like that. So with that in mind, what do we think about it? Chris, what did you think of this film?
Well, I remember it being underwhelming when I first saw it, but I think that's because I saw it with the actual ending. Yeah. You know, it's quite... I remember when it came out, like the images of him being alone and how he holds up the whole film on his own and stuff. That's positive.
Yeah.
You know, the visuals of the city and all the rest of it. But yeah, I was underwhelmed by the actual story. And it kind of suffers... Isn't it weird how this suffers from the same things as like that World War Z film in the sense of they don't get their fucking story straight and then they start fucking around with it and doing other versions and it just looks like a total like hash job by the end of it. Like... And it's a zombie, and that was a zombie film as well.
The other thing about that ending as well, just go back to it, and that point about them not knowing what they're doing, the fact they did change it in that way, it kind of makes you think they didn't really understand what the story was in the first place, did they? They don't really understand what the title means. The idea that he is legend to the... You know, like, I don't know. I'd love to be in that room when they decided on that.
I don't know what it's about these zombie films. They start them without knowing... No one in the room knows what the fucking story is. It's like there must be a room of yes men or... nodding dogs or something. Yeah.
Alex, did you enjoy it despite the ending?
I agree with Chris. I think the visuals are really good. You know, when he's chasing a deer in that sports car. You know, like I think it looks really nice. I think he does a good job. On his own. Him and the dog. I hated. It felt a bit like it was sponsored by like Bob Marley's estate or something. Like all the Bob Marley stuff. I really didn't understand it. It's obviously not in the original. I mean, you know, unless he was predicting the future. But
I thought at one point they were going down the line that Bob Marley was actually Jesus when she's doing all that stuff about Christ. And he was like, yeah, well, this is the best time ever. I was like, are you going to tell me that Bob Marley foresaw this and was actually, you know, Christ reborn? Is that what was...
It's such an odd... It was because...
I would have liked that.
Because his whole tenuous link was this whole thing of like, oh, well, Bob Marley was like a virologist because he thought you could solve racism with love.
Yeah.
And it's such a lame little like that's
the idea that woman who's probably 30 in 1999 hadn't heard of Bob Marley just so he could explain who she was to the audience.
Yeah.
But she didn't know who Damian Marley was.
Yeah.
That was oh, you mean Damian Marley? Oh yeah, because everyone knows Damian Marley, but not Bob Marley.
Yeah, it's obviously some strange alternate reality where Bob Marley's become this obsolete person no one talks about, and his children have become super famous, but beyond anyone else. Like, you know, they're like fucking Taylor Swift or something. Yeah, no, the Bob Marley stuff really bugged me and annoyed me. When he has the bit after the dog dies, when he has the breakdown, when he's yelling in the whole video shop thing, it's funny because it's funny, and then you're watching it and you think, no, but there must have been a day where he just went, this video shop, I might just put some mannequins in here just for a laugh. Like, do you know what I mean? And he must have just put them in there and then been like, I might just start talking. Like, I like the idea of how he went that mad to put mannequins. I like the idea.
I feel, though, that, again, is another symptom of what Chris is saying, of not knowing what they're doing, of, you know, if you're going to make it out that this guy is so crazy that he's willing to pretend one of the mannequins is looking at him in the video shop and then ask him for a date. He's clearly like fucked up and further gone than the guy who's doing all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And they try and justify it by when he does meet the woman and the kid. He's like, oh, she's, what she says, something like, I don't know, you're not used to being around people, something, are you?
Yeah.
That doesn't really go far enough to justify the fact that he's, he's clearly cracked, completely cracked.
He was saving that bacon. Remember, he was saving that bacon.
Yeah, he was saving it. He was.
Yeah. Well, he was going to sit in his pants and quote Shrek. That was weird. All the Shreks. Was that sponsored? That was like a sponsorship deal as well. Let's have just
very weird.
A huge bit of Shrek in it with him quoting the lines. Like
it's just very singular, specific cultural references.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm broadly in agreement with you two. Really, I like the imagery. I thought the first like half an hour, the shots of like a deserted New York held up really well. 10 years later, they look really good. I was less keen about the CGI on the monsters.
Yeah,
I thought
it's crap.
No,
it aged totally, didn't it? I don't remember being very good at the time, actually. But
no.
They're a bit like that Snoke guy in the new Star Wars.
They are a bit, yeah.
I'm sure there was a period because like Blade 2. But that they do it well, and then this and 60 Days of Night. It was that kind of let's have kind of bald, anemic, kind of gothy, punky people that have disjointed jaws.
Well, then we don't have to program any hair.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
It's a very specific view of what zombies were that kind of came around the 2000 between 2000 and 2005. This was 7, but this I don't like that look. I think it's a bit crap, basically.
Yeah. I think, they're bad, and the second half of the film just kind of falls down, really, for me. Like, it doesn't... because that's where it deviates mostly from the book as well, and I think that shows that they kind of didn't know what to do. Once the dog's dead, isn't it, really? It's kind of a bit rubbish. I just don't buy into Will Smith in that character, and they're clearly getting past that era of Will Smith has to be Will Smith, like Independence Day and Men in Black. But there's still bits of that sort of I'm doing a skit kind of thing, isn't there, about him? Yeah. When he does his Bob Marley impression, it's like you think, well, hang on, the apocalypse happened. This is a bit. This doesn't really fit.
Yeah, but Fresh Prince doesn't care about that.
No.
Yeah, exactly. He's got to get his. He's got to do his bit, hasn't he? Do his thing. So, flawed. But
have you seen the one where he's with his son?
I have seen that film.
I
It's awful.
I haven't seen
film.
that.
After Earth.
Yeah.
Written by Gary Whitta, who did Book of Eli, which is a better version of this film, if you ask me. This idea of like a man, alone after the apocalypse with an iPod. He's got an iPod of that, hasn't he? So,
yeah.
But it was all right. One weird thing: did you notice the Batman versus Superman poster in this film?
Do you know what that is?
Well, it looks a lot like the actual poster they used, doesn't it? What's the story behind that?
Well, it's basically it's an in joke at the expense of screenwriter Akiva Goldsman. Goldsman,
the Batman Robin bloke.
Yeah, Goldsman did script rewrites for Batman vs Superman project in 2002. This was just one of the countless attempts to revive the Superman franchise that culminated in the release of Superman. So it's basically them taking a piss out of him, saying, maybe in the future of 2012 they'll have made that film by now. But it's weird because it looks pretty much exactly like what they did.
Yeah, the same logo.
Yeah.
Strange.
Also, I read that this was going to be Ridley Scott Arnold Schwarzenegger at one point as a project.
Yes, I read that. Which would have been a great film, I think.
Yes.
If of a certain era of Ridley, like 80s Ridley, could have made a really interesting take on this, couldn't he?
Definitely. Yeah, because it would have gone all out one way into the action and the... Do you know what I mean? And it would have been satisfying because it wouldn't have been as confused as this.
Or it would have been like just bleak and empty in a way that, again, I feel someone involved in this film was trying to make the right film because those early shots and the fact the score's so barren, isn't it, at the start? There's not much of a score going on. It feels like someone was attempting something good at the start there, but just got lost in script rewrites and edits and things like that, and I don't know. But
yeah, because I don't know.
Through a post sort of 28 days later film, it's not that good.
Yeah, because basically it's that Akiva Goldsman, but then there's the two guys that wrote Battle of the Planet of the Apes were on it, and also Mark Prostovich, who wrote The Cell, which I think is quite a good film. So that's 4 people that I've got on IMDb, and like as we said before about whatever that other film was. My Stepmother is an Alien. You don't know how many behind the scenes people there were that were tweaking it as they were going along, you know, and putting in more Bob Marley quotes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird. Okay. That's all there is to say, really, isn't it? Really, it's again all right. Like not all right to middling, I'd say.
Yeah.
A 6 out of 10 film. Like kind of, you know.
That's not how we rate things.
No, sorry. I'll go first, and I'll give it a. I'll call it a 33 out of 47 film, 48 film. So that's above Ender's Game and below Spaceballs. Any advances on that?
I think Ender's Game's better than this, but I think you're in the right ballpark.
Chris?
I would put it 36, one below Mission to Mars, I think.
Yeah.
Below Mission to Mars.
Because Mission to Mars was as confused as this as well.
Yeah, it's similar in a lot of ways.
No, I agree. Yeah, no, I'm
In
with
my
Chris.
brain.
Yeah, no, that's a good place to be. Mission to Mars felt like, again, like someone was trying to do something and then it got
There's something
messed
really
up.
good there under the surface,
Yeah.
idea-wise,
Yeah.
but it's just not quite, you know, rendered.
I'd be in agreement, other than the fact that Safe to Not Guaranteed is above Mission to Mars, and this film was far superior to Safe to Not Guaranteed.
No, it wasn't.
Safe.
I'm sticking with. I'm with Chris on this one. I think because it's pairing with Mission
Safety
to Mars.
Not Guaranteed had an idea and a story, and it told it. This one didn't.
Not really sci-fi.
Didn't tell it.
Wait till your birthday.
Okay, all right. So we're going to say in 36.
Yeah.
I'm going to lodge my complaint there. Clearly should be higher than this a little bit, not much, but still not that bothered. Okay, so 36. So this
If I was
week,
stuck on a plane and this was the only film on the fucking thing, I think I'd just sit there and just look at this chair.
What a strange image.
it's a great image.
Do you know what I mean?
If you ever do
Look
that,
at the
ever on a
seat
plane,
in front of me.
please get a picture of that, and I'll make that the new podcast art. I feel that sums up a lot of this list.
So the
Chris
person-
sat on a plane, staring at a blank screen.
While the person sitting next to him
Deep in
watches I Am Legend.
The funny thing is, I actually
Yeah.
end up doing that a lot on planes because I could watch like a film or two, but after that, my brain goes to mush and I just sit there and just stare.
Yeah.
At the,
That's why you just start reading. You read a book.
yeah, no, my brain goes to like a level of
Actually,
can't
you know what?
do anything.
Right? You're on a plane, so you can't do much, but your brain's gone to mush. You know what you need to listen to?
What?
The science fiction rating system.
Oh, right, yeah.
not very demanding.
Yeah.
Hours and hours of back content.
It's
Just
true.
start from the start of that next time on the plane.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Boost the download numbers. Right, so we've got 3 new films this week. The highest was Andromeda Strain, number 24. At number 36, I'm Legend, and a new bottom film, number 48, The Lawnmower Man. Swipes the crown from Scanner Darkly. Mows
I hadn't seen
Scanner
the
Darkly
Lawnmower
down.
Man, but a lot of people knew of the Lawnmower Man. Did you
I'd seen
hadn't
it,
seen
yeah.
it.
I'd seen it, yeah. But a lot of people don't know about it. People at my work were just like, what the hell are you talking about?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I think it's jumped. I think, like as we've said, I don't think it's being shown on
Doesn't get
TV.
shown.
I think
Yeah.
you either need to know about it or not. And it's like a kind of, a very...
that Rick and Morty episode as well? sort
Yeah.
of.
But, yeah.
I've seen that now. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, I watched that. It's really funny. Okay, fantastic. That's it. We're done. We've done 3 films. Next week, what is happening next week, Chris?
We are. What are we doing? Terminator
Going-
2.
No, not the films. What's the
year?
theme?
No,
Yeah,
91.
theme.
91.
Back to 91.
So we don't tell people, do we?
No. I'll edit that out. I'll beep you. So
Okay. So write in anyone if you got any.
no, we're not doing that
films.
anymore either.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Have we got any
so-
mail? Have we got any mail? Oh, your mate Colin said hello on Facebook to me.
Did he? He
Colin?
said he's going to add you as a friend, yeah, because after you were besmirching his good name last week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he said he was going to get in contact.
He said hello.
Yeah, he's still listening, so hello, Colin. Yeah, so I'll just reiterate what Chris said. It was a bit confusing there. We're doing, after the success of our
It's good to
1987
know I could
episode,
host this, though, if you ever didn't feel like it.
Yeah,
You are God, Sam. Please don't
can't
leave
wait
us.
for that week.
We should have a week where either me or Alex take the wheel, just for...
Well, I would,
Shits and
that's
giggles.
fine.
I'm
Yeah,
all right.
if you want to do it.
No, please keep
Maybe-
hosting.
Maybe you can do that for your birthday. Chris
Yes.
hosts.
Well, that's the
Imagine
payment.
for that.
That's the payment for bringing a film to get a film reevaluated is hosting the whole thing.
Yeah.
We'll look forward to that then. Probably 3 or 4 episodes from here, Chris will be hosting.
Great.
Bloody hell. I mean, you probably won't ever hear that episode. It'll be... Actually, you might be the better host than me. We'll see. I would. It'd be nice. I don't want to host, so
I think I'll bring a more game show element to it.
All right. Well, keep your no spoilers. Keep
It'll be a
keep it
buzz
to yourself.
around.
Get planning, and we'll look forward to that to come. But for now, tune in next time for previews of 1991 films. Have a think about what your favourites are. Let us know your favourites. Let us know what you thought about this week's rankings or the rankings before.
You go on Facebook. There's a thing on Facebook called "The 90s Were Amazing." Like there's a page, and it's got some amazing 1990s shit on it.
Is that where your quiz came from?
No, but I'm just
Okay.
in general. Just
And while you're there, check in at the Science Fiction Rating System page.
yeah, do that as well. Yeah. If you want
like us, subscribe on Twitter, SF Rating System, Science Fiction Rating System on Instagram. Go to sciencefictionratingsystem.com to see the list. All these things. Get involved. Hashtag not my Transformers.
Just send us a little message on Facebook or on. Just send us little messages
anywhere.
Yeah,
You know, the
Feedback. We
chances
need
are
some
you'll probably
feedback.
get read out. You'll be famous because
It's
you don't
true.
get many of those.
it's very true.
But for now, we'll leave it there, I think. A bit sad now.
Oh,
All that lack of correspondence.
it's all right.
No one
Maybe
cares.
next
No one
show we'll
cares.
have something.
No, I'm going for the sympathy vote now.
Oh,
actually.
okay,
I'm
sorry.
going... Oh. Well, I'm off to hang myself. I'll see you next week. I'm Sam Draper.
I'll be hosting then if you're going to hang yourself.
Yeah, there we go. But ideal.
Yeah.
I've been Sam Draper.
I'm Chris Redding.
Yeah.
And I'm Alex Humphrey. Bye bye.
Bye. Cheerio.
We're getting slicker on that.